For 46 years, a tiara sat locked in the Dutch royal vaults, unseen, unworn, hidden from the world. Inside that tiara, a 40-carat diamond bought in 1690, one of the rarest gems in royal history. Queen Juliana wore it. Queen Beatrix refused to touch it. And then, in 2018, Queen Maxima walked into Buckingham Palace wearing the full tiara with that massive diamond blazing for everyone to see. The royal jewellery world exploded, but that wasn't the only treasure she pulled from decades of darkness. There are jewels in the Dutch vaults that haven't been worn since Queen Emma died in 1934. Today, I will cover the secret jewels that Queen Maxima uncovered. Queen Maxima of the Netherlands is not like other queens. Since becoming Queen Consort in 2013, she's done something unprecedented. She's systematically going through the royal vaults and bringing out jewellery that's been hidden for decades. And what she's revealing is stunning. Let's start with the big one. The Stuart Tiara. This is the grandest tiara in the Dutch royal collection, and it features the Stuart Diamond. A 40-carat pale blue with greenish sea tint diamond that's been in royal hands since 1690. The history: in 1690, King William III of England, who was also Prince of Orange, bought this diamond for his wife, Queen Mary II. When they died with no children, the diamond returned to the Netherlands. It stayed with the House of Orange. Then, in 1897, Queen Wilhelmina decided to create something spectacular for her inauguration. She commissioned Eduard Schuurman and Company in Frankfurt to design a grand tiara, and at its centre, the Stuart Diamond. Stuart Tiara was born, 2,400 grams of diamonds and precious metals, with that legendary 40-carat blue diamond at its heart. Queen Wilhelmina wore it at her wedding. Queen Juliana, her daughter, wore it frequently during her reign from 1948 to 1980, and then it disappeared. Queen Beatrix became queen in 1980. She reigned for 33 years until 2013. She never wore the Stuart Tiara publicly, not once. For 46 years, from 1972 to 2018, this tiara sat in the vaults. The Stuart Diamond, one of the most historically significant gems in Europe, was locked away where no one could see it. Royal jewellery experts thought it might never be worn again. And then Maxima became queen in 2013. In 2018, 5 years into her reign, the Netherlands made a state visit to Luxembourg. May 2018. Queen Maxima wore a tiara, but jewellery watchers noticed something. It looked like the Stuart Tiara, but smaller. The top diamonds were missing, including the Stuart Diamond itself. Everyone realised what was happening. Queen Maxima was testing the waters. She was showing people a smaller version first. 6 months later, October 2018, state visit to the United Kingdom, state banquet at Buckingham Palace. Queen Maxima walked in wearing the full Stuart tiara, all the diamonds, including the 40-carat Stuart Diamond at the centre. The tiara hadn't been seen like this in 46 years. Royal jewellery historians called it one of the most significant tiara moments of the decade. Why? Because the Stuart Tiara represents everything: history, the connection between England and the Netherlands, royal power. And Queen Beatrix had refused to wear it. Maybe she thought it was too grand, too ostentatious, too much for modern monarchy. But Queen Maxima brought it back, and she didn't stop there. Since 2018, Maxima has worn the Stuart Tiara multiple times, different configurations, sometimes with Stuart Diamond, times without. Now, she's made it one of her signature pieces. A tiara that was hidden for nearly 5 decades is now one of the most photographed pieces in European royal jewellery. That's not preservation, that's resurrection. But the Stuart Tiara wasn't the only piece Queen Maxima rescued. Let's talk about one of the smallest but most charming pieces in the collection, Queen Wilhelmina's diamond hair comb. This is a delicate, petite diamond hair ornament. It features a dotted diamond base topped by small diamond clovers. The piece dates back to around 1900. Queen Wilhelmina wore it frequently in the early 1900s. We have photographic portraits of her wearing the comb around 1903. But after Wilhelmina's long reign ended in 1948, the hair comb disappeared into the depths of the family vaults. For decades, no one saw it. This tiny treasure was forgotten. Until June 2010, then Princess Maxima, not yet Queen, attended a pre-wedding gala for Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden. And she wore something no one expected: Queen Wilhelmina's diamond hair comb. But she didn't wear it the traditional way. Instead of placing it at the front of her head like a small tiara, Maxima nestled it into the back of her curly hairstyle. Royal jewellery experts were stunned. This piece hadn't been seen in public for over 60 years. 3 years later, in January 2013, Maxima brought out the comb again, this time during a state visit to Singapore. For the state banquet at Istana Palace, she wore the comb as a small tiara at the front of her head. Now she was showing the piece's versatility. It could be worn in hair at the back, or as a tiny tiara at the front. Since then, Queen Maxima has worn the diamond hair comb multiple times. Each appearance reminds people that even the smallest pieces in the collection have value and history. Why does this matter? Because this comb could have stayed forgotten forever. It's tiny. It's not grand like the Stuart Tiara. It doesn't have massive gemstones, but it belonged to Queen Wilhelmina. It has over a century of history, and Maxima made sure the world got to see it again. The diamond hair comb proves Maxima's approach isn't just about the biggest, flashiest pieces. She's exploring everything in those vaults, from the grandest tiaras to the smallest hair ornaments. Nothing is too small to matter. Nothing is too forgotten to bring back. Now let me tell you about a piece that almost everyone had forgotten existed: Queen Emma's diamond aigret. This is a spectacular diamond hair ornament, 12 ornate diamond branches with small hanging diamonds at the ends that catch the light and sparkle when you move. It was a wedding gift in 1879 to Queen Emma from Princess Sophie, the Grand Duchess of Saxe-Weimar-Eisenach. Queen Emma wore it, but only once that we have photographic evidence of. Shortly after King William III died, she wore it in mourning portraits. After Queen Emma died in 1934, the aigret passed to Queen Wilhelmina, but there's no evidence she wore it publicly. Queen Juliana inherited it. She wore it a few times in the 1950s and 1960s, but not often. And for decades, no one saw the diamond aigret. It was somewhere in the vaults, but which piece it was and whether it still existed was unclear to the public. Until 2011, Crown Princess Maxima, not yet Queen, turned 40 years old, May 2011. For her 40th birthday concert, Maxima wore the diamond aigret in her hair. Royal jewellery experts were stunned. This piece hadn't been seen in decades. Most people under 50 had never seen it worn. Maxima brought it back. And she didn't just wear it once and put it back in the vault. She's worn it multiple times since then. Sometimes in her hair, sometimes as a brooch on her dress. In March 2014, she wore it as a brooch to the German Media Awards. In November 2018, she wore it as a brooch during the Singapore state visit to the Netherlands. In November 2022, she wore it again as a brooch during a state visit to Greece. This forgotten treasure from 1879 is now a regular part of Maxima's jewellery rotation. Queen Emma wore it as a hair ornament. Maxima honours that tradition by wearing it both in her hair and as a modern brooch. So where are all these pieces coming from? Why were they hidden? The answer is the Orange Nassau Foundation. In 1963, Queen Juliana did something smart. She created a foundation, a legal trust to hold the most valuable royal jewels. Why? Taxes. Queen Juliana had 4 daughters. If she passed her jewellery collection to them as personal inheritance, they'd each get a quarter of the collection, and they'd each pay massive inheritance taxes on their portion. Historical pieces would be broken up. Some might be sold to pay taxes. The collection would be destroyed. So Queen Juliana put the jewels in a foundation. The pieces couldn't be sold. They couldn't be divided. They stayed together as one collection. Any member of the royal family could borrow pieces from the foundation to wear, but no one owned them personally. This foundation was expanded in 1968 to include even more pieces. The result? The Dutch royal vaults hold one of the most impressive jewellery collections in Europe. Tiaras, necklaces, brooches, rings, centuries of accumulated treasures. But here's the problem with a foundation. If queens don't actively choose to wear pieces, those pieces stay in storage, out of sight, forgotten. Maxima changed that approach. Since becoming queen in 2013, she's been systematically going through the foundation's collection, asking to see pieces, trying them on, figuring out what works. She's not just wearing her favourites over and over. She's rotating through the collection, giving different pieces their moment. And she's shown royal jewellery enthusiasts pieces they thought they'd never see again. Why did it disappear for so long? With so many pieces in the collection, this delicate ornament was simply overlooked for decades. But Maxima saw its value. She saw the history, the craftsmanship, the connection to Queen Emma. And she made sure the world saw it too. So why does any of this matter? Why should we care about old jewellery being pulled from vaults? Because jewellery tells stories. When the Stuart Tiara sits in a vault for 46 years, that story isn't being told. The history of that 40-carat diamond, the connection to King William and Queen Mary, the fact that it's been worn at royal inaugurations and weddings for over a century, all of that history sits in darkness. When Queen Emma's diamond aigret disappears for decades, a gift from a German duchess to a Dutch queen in 1879 is forgotten. The craftsmanship, the style of that era, the personal connection, gone from public memory. But when Maxima wears these pieces, she's doing something important. She's preserving history by making it visible. Every time she wears the Stuart Tiara, she reminds people of the Dutch-British royal connection from 1690. Every time she wears the diamond aigret, she honours Queen Emma and the relationships between European royal families in the 1800s. Every time she pulls a forgotten tiara from the foundation, she's saying, "This matters, this is worth seeing, this is part of our history." And she's doing it in a way that's modern. She's not wearing these pieces like museum exhibits. She's styling them, making them work with contemporary fashion, showing that historical jewellery can still be relevant. Other royal families pay attention to this. When Queen Maxima wore the Stuart Tiara for the first time in 2018, it made international news. Other queens and princesses saw that. They saw that you can bring back historical pieces, that the public loves seeing these treasures. It's changing how royals think about their jewellery collections. Maxima is setting a trend, and it all started with her decision to open those Dutch vaults and see what had been hidden away. So what does Queen Maxima's jewellery revolution teach us? That preservation isn't just about locking things away, it's about using them, showing them, letting the world see them. The Stuart Tiara was hidden for 46 years. Now it's one of the most famous tiaras in Europe. Queen Emma's diamond aigret was forgotten for decades. Now it's documented and photographed every time Maxima wears it. Pieces from the Orange Nassau Foundation that no one knew existed are now celebrated by jewellery enthusiasts worldwide. Maxima didn't just become queen, she became curator, historian, storyteller. She's showing us treasures we never expected to see, and she's making sure future generations will know these pieces exist. Here's my question for you. Which piece are you most excited to see Maxima wear next? There are still vaults full of jewellery we haven't seen. What do you think she'll pull out next? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more stories about the jewellery hiding in royal vaults around the world, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.